sort of an outlier here today. I just tried to beg off of this to Becky before we started because I feel like I'm a little bit out of place, and she asked me if, well, I asked her if I had the privilege of saying some things about my cousin, and she said yes, but I don't think she knew what she was asking. I've got more to say than probably I've got time, whether you want time to hear it, but let's see if we can make our way through it, and I thank you for your patience. Frank Johnson was the father of Ann, Jeannie, and Frank. He also was the brother of my mother, Virginia Johnson. They were 2 of 9 children. And they were very close, and it seemed very likely that the 2 families would be together many, many times through the years. And that's the way it was. We made many trips together. They made trips from Oklahoma to Kentucky, and we made trips from Kentucky to Oklahoma. On one hot summer day in Oklahoma, my cousin and I made a pact that we would be the best of friends all our lives. And that lasted for all 70 years. I made many trips to Oklahoma and to Texas later, but I want to talk about one in particular. It was in 1967. Jeannie was wrestling with the possibility and prospect of marrying John Robert Lawrence. And she was having a kind of a tough time, not because of John Robert Lawrence, but because he was in the service. Vietnam was raging, and it was pretty much likely that he would be called to Vietnam. So we talked for a week about that, and finally her decision was made, and she married John July the 1st, 1967. I took off to Augusta because John was stationed at Fort Gordon on her birthday, August the 9th, 1967. And while we were there, John talked about a friend that he had, a farmer from southern Illinois named Roger. And I remembered that because Roger was purported to be a bluegrass music fan and loved Johnny Hartford. So I remembered that. Well, after John was killed, a terrible time for my beautiful cousin. She went to California. She taught there for a year just to try to put her life back together. This Roger that we're talking about still had a year to go in Vietnam, 1968, the toughest year of the war. And after he got out, he made the best decision of his life. He went to California, and a miracle of love that's God's grace, he and Jeannie married, April of 1969. I made a trip to Taylorville, where they first came to Illinois. This was in November of 1969. And so I got to meet this bluegrass music fan of Johnny Hartford, and we connected in about 5 minutes. I found out he was a baseball fan. So that took about all the time that we had. When I left, I had a kind of a smile on my face, because I knew what Roger may have not known. Roger was a little rough around the edges in those days. And I knew that there's nobody could live with Jeannie and not be made better. So Roger, I thought about old chunk of coal. Hey, I'm just an old chunk of gold, but I'm going to be a diamond someday. I'm going to grow and glow. I'm so blue perfect, I'm going to put a smile on everybody's face. I'm going to kneel and pray every day, lest I should become vain along the way. I'm just an old chunk of coal now, Lord, but I'm going to be a diamond someday. I'm going to learn the best way to walk. I'm going to search and find a better way to talk. I'm going to spit and polish my old rough-edged self till I get rid of every single flaw. I'm going to be the world's best friend. I'm going to go around shaking everybody's hand. I'm going to be the cotton-picking rage of the age. I'm going to be a diamond someday. And what a diamond Roger's become. There were many visits through the 70s and 80s, Lane and Becky, and a whole bunch of cookies. I wish all of you, maybe you have had some of Jeannie's chocolate cookies. I'm telling you, I'd like one right now. So anyway, one more thing that I would say about that before I knew a long time ago that if I ever was fortunate enough to have a daughter, she would be named after Jeannie. And that promise was fulfilled in 1979 when Jeannie Catherine Lovett was born. So for Roger, when October goes, the snow begins to fly. Above the smoky roofs, I watch the planes go by, and the children running home beneath the twilight sky. Oh, for the fun of them, when I was one of them. And when October goes, the same old dream appears, and you are in my arms to share the happy years. I turn my head away to hide the helpless tears. Oh, how I hate to see October go. I should be over it now, I know, but it doesn't matter much how old I grow. I hate to see October go. The leaves must turn, the wind must blow, the heart must learn when it's time for the heart to let go. But when I think of you, my heart knows why. I don't know how to say goodbye. The world moves on with no regret, and though you're gone, there are feelings I'll never forget. So I remember you, and though I try, I don't know how to say goodbye. The evenings fall much harder now. The stars grow small, and the moon seems somehow different. But every time I think of you, the moon and I know, you're the only reason, Jeannie, why I don't know how to say goodbye. I'll be seeing you in an old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousels, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be thinking of you. And for my part in this, I would beg your indulgence for a few more minutes. I feel low today. Jeannie has died. Glory has passed from the earth. The things we have seen are seen no more. Time covers our days in oblivion. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to deal with the present. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to face the future. But not today. Today I'm lost in the 50s. I'm lost in the memory of a time gone by, a time when summers seemed to go on forever, and only darkness ended our games. I miss those days that were filled with dreams and hopes for the future, those days that were filled with happiness and hopes, those days that were filled with a sense of special sentiment of youth. I don't want to let them go. Perhaps my nostalgia is because I have not fulfilled the dreams that we had in those days. But however that may be, part of the sentiment surely comes from the reality that we were the recipients of an incredible time to be alive and the beneficiaries of friends who were rare and very special. Life was less complex when there were only 16 teams, Roger. All the fields were covered with grass, and the players rode on trains. Crosley Field had a terrace. Yankee Stadium had a porch. The Polo Grounds had a 480-foot center field. Wrigley Field had ivy. Ebbets Field and Connie Mack had billboards, and Cleveland had a pennant. There was stability in the game. The Senators and Pirates always finished last, and the Yankees always won. There was no designated hitter, no player strikes, no AstroTurf, no divisions, and no World Series games at night. A Coke was a nickel. The 1957 Chevy was new. Elvis, Jerry Lee, Pat Fats, and Little Richard were young. Dion was with the Belmonts. Ike was president. The budget was balanced. Television was black and white. Movies were not rated. Stamps were 2 cents. And a hamburger was a hamburger. Rock and roll was pure. Radio stations came into existence to play the sounds of our generation. An American Bandstand could be seen every weekday afternoon on ABC from Philadelphia. There were flat tops, and sock hops, and white socks, and hula hoops, and ducktails, and fins on cars, and 20 cents a gallon gasoline. We played Monopoly on the front porch, football in neighborhood yards, basketball on driveway courts, and baseball anywhere we could find a place. We were family. We knew the strengths and weaknesses of each other, and perhaps more in any other time in our lives, we found the acceptance of who we were. There was satisfaction and contentment and exuberance and excitement for life and one another. We wanted the games to go on forever. Today I miss those days. Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to deal with the present and the future, but not today. Today I want to see Joe Adcock hit a home run on the scoreboard in Crosley Field. I want to run from school on an early October afternoon and meet the gang at the auto parts store and watch the 1954 series with the Giants and Indians. I want to ride with the top down to my friend's 1957 Impala. I want to taste a real fountain Coke at the counter at the drugstore. I want to go to the park early in the morning, choose sides, and play baseball until it's too dark to see. There are no fences, no umpires, and no limits to the game. Maybe someone will hit one over the trees in left field into the yard. Maybe someone will hit one in the massive oak tree in center field, and we'll stop the game and talk about who was the last one to do that. I want to play football with the usual rules. 3 completed passes gets a first down. I want to catch a pass on a post pattern down and out with the shrubs in the front of the yard and feel again mud caked on my hands with only the fingertips showing. I want to hear the arguing and the fussing and all the beautiful sounds of close competition. And when the game is over, I want to stop at my grandfather's store and drink an RC with a bag of peanuts in it and talk about the game and what happened and what's going to happen tomorrow. I want to meet at the street light at the corner and play kick the can or hit rocks into the tennis court until it's too dark to see. I want to talk and dream and plan and feel again the music of friendship that transcends words. Friendship is surely born in the heart of the Father as life itself. I want to know again the assurance that finally things will be all right. And when the night closes about us, when age deteriorates our faculties and skills, when death bangs and batters at the door of our very existence, I want to look in the eyes of my friends and clasp their hands and listen to the sounds of eternity reverberating in our souls. As surely as the light of tomorrow will come, even so our friendships will endure. The Almighty, omniscient, omnipotent, everlasting God, in the face of all that seems to be, makes the life-changing statement that even the fifth sparrow matters, that nothing of value will ever be lost, and that each of us is of eternal importance to Him. We are cut from eternal cloth, intensely kept in the heart of the Father, and forever given a place at His table. Today, glory has passed from the earth. Jeannie has moved to a new address. Things we have seen are seen no more. Our days pass as a dream in the night. Maybe tomorrow I will be able to handle the present. Maybe tomorrow I will be able to face the future, but not today. Today I want to listen again to the music of paradise. I want to hold again the memory of summers spent with Anne, Jeannie, and Frank. And I want to feel again the glory of those days when we were young and our hearts were on fire. See you in the morning, my beautiful friend and soul mate.